Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogtalk.com. Kevin Gilbert video. I don't know what number this is, number 5 or number 6. But the numerical number came out to be number 3. So that would be the second Giraffe album, A View From Here. The View From Here, rather. There's no The View From Here, which was released in 1989. Although there's some listings online about it saying 88, but I'm beginning to understand the timeline after reviewing both the book in here, and I revisited the video with the podcast You Are Here from last year with the four living previous members of Giraffe, this booklet. To understand the timeline of everything, why? Because there's 2 listings for the dates for the previous album, The Power of Suggestion, and I'm pretty sure also this album too. But it was officially released in 1989. Because anyway, when in 1989, I'm not certain. I want to say it was the first half. Probably sometime they did the Yamaha competition, the band Battle of the Bands competition, as I now revisited that podcast and revisiting that reading about it. It was in February of 1989. It was supposed to be in October of 88, but it got pushed back due to government and but so this album hadn't come out. I don't think they'd finished recording it at that point in February of 89. So it was sometime after that. But Kevin Gilbert did the work on Toy Matinee. He started doing that in 89. I know he was on Stone Trek talking about it at least once, maybe twice. And he was talking about Toy Matinee when it was coming out. And he was also talking a little bit, and they played some Giraffe from this album. So I can't remember. I'd have to look at the dates of the radio show. But I want to say sometime in the spring or maybe early summer this was officially released. I'm thinking probably sometime around like April, May, maybe March. Somewhere in that window of time, possibly June. That 3-4 month window. Anyway, so this has always been like, this was the first of the 2 records I got into more. It's more polished production. I'm going to start comparing the 2 Giraffe albums. I'm going to do a separate video on Power of Suggestion, but this to me is almost Kevin doing progressive rock at the best kind of progressive rock that he'd do it at, like more purely. But again, it's not. There is a lot of different elements to it besides being progressive rock. But it's the right sort of song-oriented progressive rock with a step up in the vocal style, vocal lines, and especially the production from some of his previous work in a lot of ways. I mean, I'll say this. My favorites, here's your track list. This is the 2012 remaster, and then of course the box set that just came out in 2021 is been remixed again. It's like this one is like different. But let me grab that one on this, because those are like separate. These are in separate sleeves. They look very much the same. I mean, gun to my head, could I tell you which one was different? This does say 2012, but I've been assured by the state and some of the comments that there's a difference in the mix on this. I'd almost like to do a side-by-side comparing these 2 versions if I can grab it. Yeah. Because they look pretty much the same, and they look the same. I don't know if the discs that look a little different. No, it says 2012. I don't remember. It was just from a cost standpoint they printed them. I don't remember if they're... Anyway, regardless of that, I have the compilation, and I think you can... I guess I could show that really quickly, because it's all in Giraffe mode and some of the stuff. This compilation came out in 99. I want to say there's fidelity differences on and this isn't the full against the compilation. It's most of both those records, but it's like 4 songs between the 2 records that are not on here. But anyway, so just getting into this record, My favorites probably being the Home Progress, what I call Suite. Those two. I mean, it's Home is just like an intro, I guess you could say. And then Air Dance. Air Dance is just stellar. That's gorgeous. That's one of the best songs, Kevin and the band, but Kevin ever did. To me, it's almost like a story of like a ballerina, a little bit like Styx's ballad. They have a song called, it's not ballerina, but it refers to a ballerina in the title. It's just gorgeous. It's very subtle. I mean, I noticed this about 10 years ago, how there are some, I don't say it's blatant, but they're pretty close similarities to Genesis. I want to say Undertow. The song from the 70s Phil Collins Genesis, and it really does remind me a lot of. But it still doesn't matter. It's breathtaking. And Home Progress is, lyrically, it's very political, sort of environmental, which one of the things they were going for with Giraffe. But talking about the rest is, of course, there's From Here to There, All Fall Down. From Here to There later got re-recorded, I believe. And so did The Way Back Home for The Shaming of the True. All Fall Down, of course, is a song on Thud, which Kevin did. Now, the version of All Fall Down on here is different. The tempo, the instrumentation, the arrangement's different. So a lot of the lyrics are the same, though. I like this version of All Fall Down, but I guess push come to shove, I still prefer the Thud version. This is more of like not a funk version, but the version of Thud is more classy, for lack of a better way to put it. But they're still both good. I think both versions are good on them, which is, I should do a separate video after I'm done with of all the examples that I can come up with where he reused, remade, rearranged songs. It's like 20 songs. I made a list on my blog and never published it years ago. I never finished it, but lyrics and stuff like this especially. The rest of this record, I like a fair amount. I don't love it. I like Waiting for the Rain is pretty nice. It's a very kind of anthemic, the message in that. It's kind of upbeat. And again, The Way Back Home and From Here to There, the Shaming versions I prefer, but I still like it. And, they're not dramatically different. There's some of the textures, the keyboard textures are different. I Will Survive and Holding On With Both Hands are just... Holding On With Both Hands is a nice ballad. I think he did other ballads I like more, Kevin did, but, it's a nice ballad. It's very, it's a love... It could have been like a Valentine's Day thing. And it's like a love song. I Will Survive is kind of like Waiting for the Rain. It's kind of upbeat somewhat, but... And then Welcome Home, of course, that song uses the lyrics also from the last track on Thud. Other than, not the last track on Thud. Why am I spacing on the track on Thud? I'm not remembering. Hold on a second. I want to say... Well, I should know this. Maybe I'm thinking of All Fall Down. No, I mean, Welcome Home... No, okay, that Welcome Home wasn't redone. The thing is, about the Giraffe albums, it was done on Shaming too. I don't even thought from a point. I mean, they did that a lot, but a lot of voiceovers, a lot of samples on this, on both Giraffe albums. I like it. It's very theatrical, very storybook, cinematic in some ways. Even though I don't think this isn't really a concept album exactly, maybe loosely, but I've always appreciated the use of samples. I mean, I think of Pink Floyd. A lot of artists use samples, but narratives. One with Donald Pleasance, I think. Yeah, it sounds like Donald Pleasance. But they talk about the atomic bomb and going to war. And that's Welcome Home is not he didn't remake that. I was thinking it was another song, I think, but. He might have done something like that on Call Me Kai, which I'll get to for the Call Me Kai video, of course, or maybe 2 videos. But anyway, I mean, it's very polished. Again, it's progressive rock. It's sort of his peak of him doing progressive rock in a way. But I mean, the guys in the band were just these polished, technician musicians and songwriters. Although, as I came to remember about that You Are Here podcast, this album was kind of, I don't know the best way to put it. It's almost like snow from Spock's beard. They made it, but it's like it was in the process of making it toward the end at least. Kevin was already sort of heading toward what he was going to do with Toy Matinee. They said, like, the writing was kind of on the wall about his interests and his sort of, the trajectory of his interest in pursuing a professional music career and to earn a living at it and be, that, I don't know. I don't know if some of the songs would have ended up different. You think about some of the songs that, like, From Here to There and The Way Back Home and All Fall Down, they ended up being done later by him differently. That, maybe he had, because I mean the thing is, okay, they worked on this before. Yeah, because the whole trajectory of that Yamaha Battle of the Bands thing when he met Pat Leonard, it was in L.A. The Japanese, the competition they did in Japan was in February of '89, but the thing in L.A. was like, I can't look at the dates. It was in '88. It might have been like the fall of '88. Yeah, I think it was like September of '88. So he already was in sort of talks and communication with Pat Leonard at the point that they were at least recording, if not writing, a lot of this stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if he was distracted, kind of, if he was thinking of that, or although they didn't really start doing Toy Matinee until the next year, I guess. So, I mean, I've always wanted to just, like, put that, and I did that to a point of, like, when I was doing the song title repeating, the whole sort of timeline of Kevin's career. Like, I just saw the Eddie Money video that I posted last week, rest in peace, Ronnie Spector, where they were on American Bandstand. That was November 22nd, 2 days after his birthday in 1986. So the timeline of Giraffe was not that long after that, but he was in Eddie Money. I didn't realize he was in Eddie Money quite that late. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to sort of, these were the years, I always wanted the documentary series to be made that, the estate talked about but never did. They would sort of really give a more clear-cut, definitive timeline of what he was doing when. But anyway, no, but From Here to There, The View From Here, rather, From Here to There. Maybe that was partly the song title came from the title from the album. I don't know where they got the name of the album or the artwork was really, but I also like to mention, at some point, I have not talked about Robert Ferris. He wasn't in Giraffe, but he was in Giraffe after Kevin left Giraffe. I didn't realize it was in the band Jackal. Briefly, they were called Jackal for various reasons, but he co-wrote some of their songs, and he also wrote Big Heart, as I was revisiting that video I made from Thud. So it's interesting how the name Giraffe came from Robert Ferris and Kevin Gilbert wanting to work together, but then it was sort of like, I can't be the alpha songwriter together. I don't know the exact reason why they never actually ended up in a band together. It's really weird that they didn't. Either they were friends, and the name Giraffe, if they would have been together, it came from Robert Ferris, his initials and Kevin's initials. RMG or whatever, but or KMG rather. I think it was GIR. Gilbert, or I forget how they showed it was GIR or GI and RAF. Gilbert. I think that's what it was. Anyway, but yeah. So for those who've seen this, I've talked almost ad nauseum over the last year and change about Giraffe. What's your take on the View From Here? Again, 1989 was the release date. Like I said, I have now 1, 2, at least 4 of these left. So I've done like 5 of these. I think I have 4 left, and I just picked the next one. So, and like I said, some of these that are longer might end up being 2-parters. Well, I mean, I'm going to come clean. It would be Call Me Kai. When I end up doing that video, is so much music. It's 47 songs that, to really do it justice, I may want to actually make it part 1 and part 2. But yeah, thank you for watching. I got a couple things in the works. Hopefully, some new stuff coming up. Giant Sky, this band that I was supposed to do last week, I'm just loving. Also enjoying the band Mystery Jets. Oddly enough, a band I knew about a long time ago. Also, I wanted to do something on post-rock. I think I might try doing that. Just do like my take, my story with the genre, which I've talked about. But if I can actually corral all the physical copies together, I would be interested in using those. Maybe I'll just take a handful of them. I won't do everything, but because post rock is something that always comes up, and since I've been a fan of the style to an extent for the better part of 20 years, yeah, because it was there's a guy named Nate, or I'm not sure what his actual Nate, a gentleman who did a psychedelic music documentary thing on his channel. He talked about doing, maybe, because he didn't talk about post rock in there, which sort of fits under the umbrella. He talked about maybe doing on my comment. He replied to me talking about doing a post rock documentary, which would be like that'd be awesome, and I would like to do one myself. Just mine would be slightly not biased, but yeah, to my taste and my feelings and my opinions about it. You know, as opposed to like a lot of styles of music, there's some of the stuff that doesn't really do much for me, and there's other stuff that I love that other people don't care as much for, or just as obscure. So, but yeah, that stuff's in the works this week, and you know, trying to get through the Kevin Gilbert series. I'm getting through The Expanse. My goal is, that's the other thing. My goal is to make a video on science fiction television series in space, in effect. Basically, it's Star Trek and everything else, ranking them. So anyway, but thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.